And this opportunity of what shows up is actually something that levels up our IQ and EQ. We've been speaking about emotional intelligence. Put a link in the description to the discussion I did. I recommend reading the book, Emotional Intelligence.
Hey guys, welcome to Dream Journal episode 52. Today's September the 10th, 2021. This is your host, Korean Christmas. Sorry we missed yesterday. I got tied up with a whole bunch of other stuff. True entrepreneur life.
Be hard on yourself as a result of experiencing emotions.
Yeah, today I'm going to try and do double. So I'm doing one stream in the morning, and then hopefully I'll have another one later tonight to make up for the one I missed. This morning one's going to be fairly quick. You might even call it a cheat, but I'm basically going to make myself a new profile pic using this old one that I did. So yeah, this one should be pretty quick, like I said, but hopefully you guys enjoy it regardless.
When we say
let's go ahead
and
edit
this. To a degree of a spectrum.
First I want to edit the
canvas. In relation to the person based on this or that. For example, you might say if a person speaks about subject A, then I consider them to be a good person. And if they speak about subject B, then I consider them to be a bad person. Rather than saying that both subject A and subject B can be looked at from the perspective of in relation to your vision, in relation to their vision, and that we're going to arrive to a commonality and understanding between the two subjects, and to be able to find the varying degree of where it connects. Now, this is why I encourage improving communication skills and developing sales skills. I know I say it a lot because here's the thing about it. When you're having a conversation with a prospect and they give you an objection and you react to the objection and you see them as, oh, they are not the right fit, the question we want to ask ourselves is that really true? Is that really true? Are they really not the right fit for the service that we know deep down inside that can benefit them? Or are we just arriving to this conclusion based on our reactivity? And so then what ends up happening is that through the cause and effect reflection, understanding within, and through practice, you actually know how to overcome that objection. You know what to say to them, said in a way that connects the two perspectives together. And now all of a sudden they see a parallel between the value that you provide and your product and service and the benefit that they will receive from it. And that is found in a nuanced degree between the yes and no. So on one hand, they were going to say no to the product or service. And in the ideal scenario, they would say yes to the product or service. But however, we know that in conversations, when it comes to sales, it's not always going to be a yes or no. The answer is usually, it depends. They will buy based on their ability to see and understand and feel and resonate with the connection between your product and service and the outcome that they desire, or they might not even know that they desire yet. But the bottom line is this. All of that is discovered by embracing that there are many degrees between two sides of the same coin. Now we're going to further discuss this because as a person embraces this, and we've been doing this all throughout our journey, this is not something that's new. This is how we develop a higher degree of emotional intelligence, a higher degree of intelligence in general, to be able to see the nuance distinction between what appears as two poles. And so they state, a knowledge of the existence of this great hermetic principle will enable the student to better understand his own mental states and those of other people. So what do we do on the journey to bring forth our vision? Well, much of it may involve relating with, communicating, dealing with others. And that is really about understanding our mental states. And we also want to understand the mental states of others and their communication, their perspectives from those mental states. But if we hold on to rigidly to our own mental state and not see another person's perspective, understand it from their mental state, then it appears as conflict. But if we can adjust to a level of understanding of their mental state, then we can engage in a dialogue that will bring forth a vision in a mutually beneficial way. He will see that these states are all matters of degree. Very important. So we'll emphasize it again. He will see that these states are all matters of degree. And seeing thus, he will be able to raise or lower the vibration at will, to change his mental poles, and thus be master of his mental states, instead of being their servant and slave. So valuing the nuance. So some practical ways that you can value nuance is to really enjoy and be deeply engaged with your day-to-day experiences. Every task that you do on your day-to-day work, every time you go for a walk, enjoy the walk. Instead of seeing it as a means to an end, see it as an experience that you can be more present to. When you eat food, enjoy the different tastes. When you drink a glass of wine, develop a palate. Same is to be said about maybe if you go to see some performing arts. Learn to value the nuances that go into the different aspects of the performance. One of the things that I really like to do is I like to study good business people. And I observe how they communicate about different aspects of reality, their psychology. And what I notice is that the ones that seem to have a very astute understanding, deep level of nuance, the different aspects of the journey, will reveal it in the way that they carry themselves and how they have the conversations. They seem to speak yes and rather than no but. I learned this from improv. I took improv many years ago, and one of the things that they taught us in improv is when you don't know what to say, when you're having an improv-based conversation on stage, simply reply with yes and, agree with the person and add to it. Now this yes and is actually in relation to the NLP concept. We've been talking about NLP in the last few videos, of pacing and leading, which is very interesting. It is also what Stephen R. Covey said in his book, 7 Habits. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. And so we want to understand that perhaps the conflict is caused by inability to value the nuance. Understand that there's subtle perspectives, and we have the ability to tune ourselves to understand these subtle perspectives. Thus, going back to what we wanted to discuss in the first place, develop a greater ability to maintain the presence of mind, the ideal state of mind, as well as see our ideas all the way to completion. Because it's these reactivity-based experiences that seem to throw us off, that seem to create unnecessary stress, frustration. And these are experiences that can be changed in the mental plane. And the Kabbalion, they further state, and by his knowledge he will be able to aid his fellows intelligently, and by the appropriate methods change the polarity when the same is desirable. We advise all students to familiarize themselves with the principle of polarity, for the correct adjustment of the same will throw light on many difficult subjects. So what we want to do is we want to dwell in our ideas. We want to live from that state of mind that is one with the idea, our vision. And if we experience tension and reactivity, we want to see it as an opportunity. So we can understand the nuanced meaning that will allow us to ascend past that reactivity so we don't experience it in that same regard again. And when we're communicating in some shape or form, or doing anything, any kind of creative expression, we can actually embrace the nuance a lot better because we'll understand what it means and we'll be able to work with it. And Charles Fillmore says, you will find that your ideas have broadened immensely, that your little limited world has been transformed into a big world. You will find your mind more alert, and you will see clearly where you were in doubt before, because you have begun thinking about realities instead of appearances. See, you're looking beyond the surface level when you find the nuanced distinction within yourself. And it's like a whole world opens up again, or you see more, even more vividness in clarity. And as a result, you navigate from that perspective. Being a person that everything you touch turns to gold. He says the consciousness of an omnipotent hand guiding all your affairs will establish you in confidence and security, which will extend to the body, welfare, and surroundings. There will be a lessening or entire absence of prejudice and fault finding in you. So this is what we're talking about earlier. We understand what it is that we're experiencing and the conversations and the relations and so forth. And we look beyond the surface level to find deeper meaning, and thus our intelligence increases. And our ability to work with the nuances increases. And as a result, we produce more results. Our value goes up, because what is a person of value? A person of value is a person that recognizes their own value and is able to see value where others might not see value. He says, you will be more forgiving and more generous and will not judge harshly. Other people will feel that there has been a change in you and will appreciate you more, showing it in many ways. They will be coming your way, being added unto you indeed according to the promise. He says, do not expect miracles to be performed for you, but do expect the law with which you have identified yourself to work out your problem by means of the latent possibilities in and around you. Above all, be yourself. Let the God within you express himself through you in the world without. And we've referred to this many times as infinite intelligence. Charge your mind with statements that express plenty. No particular affirmation will raise anyone from poverty to affluence, yet all affirmations that carry ideas of abundance will lead one into the consciousness that fulfills the law. So we've been speaking about this. Seek first the consciousness. So all of these things are designed to maintain that consciousness. The state of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, as Neville Goddard puts it, or the ideal state of mind, as we've been discussing, or as we've been reflecting off the Robert Dilts model, the identity that's one with the vision, or psychocybernetics, the self-image that's ideal towards the vision. And we're doing this by saying, I commit to my ideas. I encourage my ideas. And if reactivity shows up, that's fine. I'll understand what it means. I will find what it means. I have the capability to find what it means, whereas maybe before, one might have said to themselves, I won't find out what it means, or it means rejection, or it means failure. However, those are interpretations that we are assigning to the experience of reactivity, and we can change those interpretations. Rather see it as an opportunity. As he states, charge your mind with statements that express plenty. He says, deny that lack has any place or reality in your thought or your affairs, and affirm plenty as the only appearance. Praise what you have, be it ever so little, and insist that it is constantly growing larger. What are we doing? Well, a few things. Number one is we're encouraging the idea, the vision. Number two is, as he stated here, ideas are centers of consciousness. So we're expanding upon, as he says, ideas generate thought currents as a fire under a boiler generates steam. The idea is the most important factor in every act and must be given first place in our attention if we would bring about any results of a permanent character. So let's conclude this conversation with an affirmation. We'll say, I encourage my ideas. Ideas that are received within are able to be seen into completion more so automatically as I maintain my ideal state of mind. Thus, I make it a priority. And if I experience reactivity, I have the ability to understand the nuanced distinction, make peace with it, integrate it, and maintain my ideal state of mind if that circumstance were to occur again. As a result, my awareness increases, and I understand how everything in my reality is in harmony and in contribution to my vision. This increases each day as I continue down this path of encouraging my ideas. The encouragement of these ideas saturate my consciousness, allowing me to maintain that prosperity-based state of mind that will reflect in reality as my vision and my idea brought forth. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. So as this video is being released, I will be returning back from a vacation that I took in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I have pre-recorded 2 videos and released them on the week. Number 1 being the one that we released on Thursday, which is the public speaking video in relation to Dale Carnegie's books. And today we're going to discuss self-persuasion, and the mind map title here is Self-Persuasion in relation to ... because you could fill in the blanks, but I'm going to discuss it from the perspective of self-persuasion in relation to others, or the concept of everyone is you pushed out when it comes to communication, persuasion, which from this perspective here is really about self-persuasion. I believe that if Neville Goddard was around, he would be a major contributor to the field of neuro-linguistic programming. In 1970, Richard Bandler and John Grinder started this journey of putting together a body of work as a result of modeling those that have been effective in persuasion, communication, and transformation. From there, they brought forth the body of work known as neuro-linguistic programming, in which I reference Robert Dilts many times in my videos. I refer to his model, I recommend his work, and I also recommend the work from another individual named Wyatt Woodsmall. These individuals have gone through a very extensive process of understanding the psychology of a person and how it translates over to transformation in others as far as persuasion and communication goes. One of the key concepts, favorite concepts in NLP for me, is the concept of frame, otherwise known as frame control. And this is what I believe Neville is a master of in relation to what he has shared with us, which we talk about from his perspective as concept of self, self-image.
Knocking around the Christmas tree.